What's up, CAPTV? This is Platinum Max Caster here in my backyard, bringing you another great episode in this quarantine. Today on the show, I'm going to be talking to the Thunderheart JGeorge, see what he's been up to during the quarantine. Also, we're going to watch one of my classic matches as Creative Pro Champion from a few years ago, so stay tuned for that. But first, I'm in the backyard to show you guys a little something. Wrestlers want to know, fans want to know, how do you work out during the quarantine? And of course, you could lift weights, you could do deck of cards, you could do all that stuff, but how do you implement wrestling technique into your workout? Well, I have a way to do that today. Behind me, I have a snow sled, and on that snow sled is about 200 pounds worth of weight. I have heavy chains. And one of the moves that we do in wrestling is called an Irish whip. We have to send our opponent across the ring using our body and our momentum and our muscles. So this is gonna help replicate that. So you have a snow sled, you have weights on it, and I have a rope attached to that, and I'm gonna pull it across the grass. You wanna dig your feet in, pull with your lat, and explode with your hips, okay? So you can do that across the yard. If you don't have a yard, go to the park. If you don't have a park, do it on the concrete. Take it old school. If you don't have weights, put a person on there. If you don't have a sled, hey, grab a garbage can, a recycle bin, a tarp, anything. So that's one secret that I use to stay prepared for the ring when wrestling does come back, because that call could come at any time, boys. It really can. Use that. Maybe next week we'll see some more. But for now, here's my interview with the Thunderheart, JGeorge. We're here on CAPTV with JGeorge. JGeorge.
What's going
on? Yes.
Hey, we're here. What a crowd, though, man. What a crowd. What a crowd. It's the Thunderheart JGeorge coming at you live and in living color.
Yes, lots of color. Oh, you're smoking now. Wow. Didn't know you were.
It's not lit. It's not lit.
No. You know it is lit, though.
What?
You.
Yes, sir, man. That's a great time. I mean, it's not a great time for a lot of us, but you got to take joy in a lot of the small things that come from all of this craziness.
Yeah, so how are you dealing with this? You're a man that is all about town, and now town, there's nothing to be about. What's going on?
Well, you know, there's a weird dynamic. Like I was trying to do a lot of creative stuff, and I jumped up on some stuff, and I was getting my feet wet with that. But then there's a lot of days where there just absolutely nothing happens, and I kind of let myself fall into that area of non-creativeness. But I've been working out very hard. I've been working out a lot. I think I'm in better shape now than when I was going to the gym every day. So that's a plus. And not only that, but I also got married during this quarantine.
Did you really?
Yeah, you know, I always felt right until my marriage, I always felt incomplete. And now that I'm married, I feel completely finished. The other day I was looking at myself in the mirror and I was feeling a little bit self-conscious. I said to my wife, I said, honey, I'm looking in the mirror and I just see a fat, old, miserable man. Can you just give me a compliment? And she goes, you know what? You have perfect eyesight. Well, you know, we go out. We went on a little drive the other day, and we passed this farm, and I saw a cow, a chicken, a pig, and I look over at her and I said, hey, remind you of any relatives? And she goes, yeah, my in-laws. I was like, come on.
You can't catch a break. You married a real sharp lady, huh?
So something like that. What happened? So I'm surprised you asked me to do this. Was Scotty Karate busy?
Scotty was next on my list. You said yes, and then here we are. I I don't think Scotty got married, so I wouldn't have heard all these stories. So
Yeah, that's true. It's a shame because I was as obviously I had my debut match at the last CAPTV taping live show. It was supposed to be a show, and I was kind of looking forward to see things were going, and now it's like I don't know. Do you think things are going to kind of have to restart and reset over at Creative Pro in terms of the shows?
yeah, the shows, I think all across indie wrestling, everyone's going to have to figure something out. Everyone's going to need a platform. Obviously, it's easier to stream things these days, but it's not going to be the same without people there. I am of the mindset that we got to let some people in, even if it's 20 people, and have them make noise, and it's going to create a much better ambiance when these matches are happening and when the guys are putting themselves out there. But you know, to me, I feel like we got to go. The first company that puts on the first high level show, they're going to be in a real good spot. It could be Creative Pro. It could be somebody else. I hope it's Creative Pro because I'd love to be a part of it. But whoever puts on that first show, there's so many guys that are available now. There's so many guys that are really hungry that want to get back in the ring. And when you put that all together and that first show back, even if it's just streaming with no fans, people are going to tune in and people are going to be super excited about it. Because live sports, that's like the one thing that's keeping cable alive. And cable's like the most archaic thing of all time.
Right.
So we need live sports. And wrestling fits into that. That's why it hasn't really gone away on TV. And now on the independent level, I feel like there's a huge opportunity. So it's got to come back soon.
And obviously that the biggest aspect of the live sports that's missing is the fans. So when indie wrestling jumps in on that, it's gonna be something. I mean, the crowds they get louder and louder each year. It feels like, you know what I mean? They get more into it, more passion. So like, it's I don't know. It's gonna be very interesting when they start running shows with a decent number of fans. But even 150 fans is going to be enough to really get people going, I think.
Yeah, I think the thing about wrestling fans is they love wrestling so much that they would take the risk of getting sick or getting exposed or whatever, even if it's just catching a cold, not necessarily coronavirus or anything like that. People would go watch wrestling at any place, the dirtiest gyms and the VFWs and basements and backyards. Like, people will go anywhere to watch wrestling. So I feel like even now people will still come out.
Isn't it funny when you look back to some of the places and things we've done in wrestling that were like, I don't like, how much is that going to change this idea? Obviously, I think like handshakes are going away, and honestly, I never care to shake someone's hand who's a fake tough guy on the internet, or who's someone who talks trash behind my back or tries to politic to kick me out, or says I do too many moves, or maybe I don't do enough moves. But then for me to go there every single time, all that tough guy stuff goes away and they have a fake smile on their face and they extend your hand for a handshake, because that's the real crux of a lot of people. And I think that's going away to begin with. I thought, so when I was wrestling over in China, wrestling's completely new to these people. They don't have any of these traditions and all these things set in place that they have to do, and all these unwritten rules and all that. So like, there was no hand. You didn't have to shake every single person's hand. A lot of them did the head nod. A lot of them acknowledge your presence. Everybody acknowledges your presence, whatever. But there's no constant shaking hands. And I know there's people that were like, doesn't make sense. You're still going to get in that ring and wrestle with someone. But that's one person versus how many people at a show that you're shaking hands,
I think head nods are good. Fist bumps, that's like a step up. But like, if we can, I remember high school, like all I would do is just head nod. Nod. Yeah. What's up, dog? What's up, dude? what's going on, Playboy? And just like, it's a lot simpler that way. So independent wrestling shows are notoriously run on shoestring budgets, right?
Right.
how much or how little are you willing to wrestle for? How far are you willing to drive without getting gas money, and et cetera, et cetera? How cheap can we get the building? Can we get the worst ring possible for the least amount of money?
No, come on.
It happens, but there
Yes.
are shows that operate on this level. So now I'm wondering, who's going to sanction all these shows? I know like New York Athletic Commission was hard on wrestling a couple of years ago and they kind of backed off, but now it's like, okay, well, do we need to Purell the ring ropes between every single match? Do we need to vacuum the canvas? I think that's going to be one thing that'll probably change when fans come back, especially, but even before that.
Another like kind of thing I've been seeing a lot more in recent years, especially once a company starts running and they kind of have their footing, a lot of them often have their own ring and they have their own they usually have like a venue somewhat locked down that, you know what I mean, that they could always run a show there and they don't have to worry about getting a certain billing. So like I don't like, at least for the places I wrestle for, I don't see a lot of that stuff being an issue and a lot of that really changing in terms of like how much sacrifices I'm gonna make. But if I have to make them, I'm still gonna make them because, I mean, we've seen how fast a career can turn around in a matter of months, in a matter of less than a year, of where people can go from here to here, and we just lost all that time theoretically, especially, you know, when with things we were doing. So like it's going to be a rat race to just kind of everybody to get back where they were. And that's what I'm really interested to see. Who's really been, like you said, people are hungry. Who's really been that hungry? Who's been the hungriest? You know what I mean?
Even though it's been kind of nice to get away from wrestling and being in the rat race, it is a literal, it's a rat race. I feel personally that I have a new goal. My goal is now I know that I'm the best wrestler. Now I need to prove to everyone that I'm the best wrestler in the world currently, right now. And I want to go fight every single top person and take their spot. That's how I feel right now. So I look at the big companies that are around here and the ones that I'm set to work for, or I was before everything got shut down. And I'm saying, why don't I have the top spot here? I'm going to go take it. This place, I'll take it. And then on and on. So right now, I feel like at the top of my game, and I feel like I've come out of this with a much clearer mindset, because before this, wrestling was a real big strain on life. And it's just, you're in it, and as long as you're healthy and you're going, you're trying all you can to be better than everyone else. But the funny thing is, the whole time I was better than everybody else, and I was still trying to be better. But I just need
better than yourself, right? That's like that's the question.
That's the thing. Like, was I okay with myself? Was I happy with myself? And it took a step back for me to say, you know what? I am happy. I know what I do well, and I know that I'm a lot better than everybody else. So now, boom, got to go hammer it home in front of everybody, embarrass people, take their spots, take the money, take the titles, and then keep moving on up. So I think people like you, people like me, who have this mindset that when they come back, that's what it's going to be. There are guys already at the top who are going to come back and have that spot secure. But what about guys like us who are now even more hungry? And there's guys that are on the come up that wrestling is all that defines them. And it's a really weird thing. Like, I learned that right as wrestling shut down. I said, what other interests do I have? I said, I don't know. I don't have any hobbies. I don't go out and do things. I wrestle, I work out, I watch wrestling. And so now it's like all these people have this thing taken away from them, and they're crumbling inside. And it's so scary to see what I could have been. A person entrenched in that, and it's taken away, and it's like, well, I don't have the thing that makes me me anymore. It's like, no, I've always been me. You've always been you. But there's guys out there that just can't live without being in the spotlight. And I've been out of the spotlight for a long time, and bro, it's right there. It's on me, right over there to my left. It's on me, and I'm ready.
That's Jesus, I've been thinking a lot about that because I felt like things were really starting to click for me mentally as I was really figuring this thing out. And it's, for some people it takes a while. Some people get lucky and they get those string of matches where they're able to learn that as it happens. And I think that was like been one of the things I've always felt like I've been missing. I've never had that like momentum of matches with people that really bring me to that level. You know what I mean? To that next level.
So George, aside from getting married and training, what else have you been doing during this time off?
Focusing a lot on the diet, you know, which has been a lot easier to do when you don't have to, you're not running around doing different things and all that. But like it's a lot tough. It was tough at first because my wife can't cook for anything. She's a really bad cook. We have the only dog in the neighborhood that begs for Pepto-Bismol. I was just saying, so like the other day I was coming home and I saw this guy running down the street naked, and I was like, "What are you doing that for?" And he goes, "'Cause you came home early." Jesus, nah, man, it's rough. I was debating on getting one of those meal prep services thing, but I don't think it's worth it right now. So I've been cooking a lot of my own stuff, just keeping it simple. You know what I mean? Some steak, some chicken.
So going back to my run as champion, one match that I had was with Kevin Tibbs. And Tibbs is a guy I've wrestled a bunch of times over the years. I think this was our first match against each other. And it was a pretty good one. Spoiler alert, I retained the title.
I don't want to watch it then.
Whoa.
You just spoiled it. Nah, you know, I know it's not always about the destination. It's about the journey. So we could watch it. You know, it's no problem. Nothing wrong.
Okay, well, it's okay.
That's on me for not following the lore as closely of the Cap title.
Hey, look, it's okay with George, and it's okay with me. Hope it's okay with everyone watching.
And it might not be. I see, now you have to think about the general public. You might have to put on you and Alex Reynolds or something.
That I can't. I was going to, and I can't find it.
All right, we'll watch it, even though we know the result.
All right. Well, thanks, George.
Introducing first the challenger, hailing from Queens Village, New York, weighing in at 175 pounds, the savior of wrestling, Kevin Tibbs. Introducing his opponent, hailing from Rockville Center, New York, weighing in at 230 pounds. He is the current reigning and defending bringing a pro champion, American Bad Boy, Max Caster. And those gonna be his.
Come on, bad boy. Come on, bad boy. You gonna dance? You gonna dance? I'm here to kick your ass.
Let's go.
You're a tough guy now, bad boy? You're a tough guy? Pie-faced me? Watch this! Watch this! Shut up! Keep on doing it. Shut your mouth.
Let me know. All right.
Come on, dance now! Dance now!
Break his legs. Hey, come on. Let's go. 1, 2, 3. Back it up. Out of the ropes. Let's go. Let's go. Keep going. All right. Champ.
Break those legs. Do it again. One more. Screw you.
Come on, Max, finish this guy. Go, Max.
Yeah!